what's up? My name is Dal, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I typically make bookish content, movie content, and anything else in between because I like to do whatever I want on this channel, and today's going to be movie content. I don't know if that was English at one point, plus I forgot to take a thumbnail, so hold on. So I'm calling this movie content, but I will not be reacting to a movie today. Today we are going to do a tag video that I've kind of adopted from an already pre-existing one. I'm calling this the mid-year movie freakout tag. This is based off the mid-year book freakout tag. I will link my video up above in my book freakout tag so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. So what I did was take those bookish questions and turn them into movie related questions, like for example, what's the best book you read? And I turned it into what's the best movie you watched. I did this video last year, so I will link that video up above if you guys want to see those answers, and we're gonna go ahead and jump right into this. So number one, what is the best movie you watched so far this year? So before I answer that, I'm gonna try to make all these answers like new to me movies. Like I don't really want to talk about the rewatches. So that being said, the best movie I watched this year was My Neighbor Totoro. I know, it took me nearly 24 years to finally watch this movie. If you don't know what this movie is about, it is about these two girls and their father who moved to the countryside to be closer to their mother, who is in the hospital with tuberculosis, and while the girls are out and about playing, they come across these four spirits, one of them being named Totoro. This movie has no main villain, no plot, like no like overarching arc, no major problems, and yet it is the cutest movie I've ever seen in my life. It was just, it's so pure. And I was reading about this movie, and the reason this movie was written the way it was is because it premiered immediately after Grave of the Fireflies, which is so fucking sad. So I feel like, because I did rewatch Grave of the Fireflies this year, I feel like I should have watched it the way it was intended because I needed a pick-me-up after the Grave of the Fireflies. But whatever. So cute. Best movie I've seen this year. Number two is the best sequel I watched so far this year. I haven't watched a lot of sequels, so by default it's going to be Psycho 2, which is the sequel to Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. This is not by Alfred Hitchcock. This movie came out after he died, but I actually thought it was a really good sequel. It really stood well. Like usually horror sequels kind of suck ass, but I thought they did a good job with this. Anthony Perkins was still an amazing actor, still freaked me out. I actually reacted to this, so I will link that up above. So number three is a movie that is a new release that you have not seen yet. That will be In the Heights. That's not like my top priority right now, but I am very interested in it. I just don't think I'm gonna go to the theater anytime soon to see it. I'm gonna wait until it's like on a streaming service or something. Number four is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year, and that's gonna be Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. When it was first announced that he was remaking the movie, I had my doubts. I love the original movie that's from the 60s. I didn't want a remake. But then I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks fantastic. One of the things I learned is that Steven Spielberg doesn't want to recreate the movie. What he's trying to do is actually recreate the stage play, because I have seen the stage play as well, and the stage play is different. So I should say this, I'm saying this backwards. So the movie from the 1960s is actually different than the stage play. They rearranged some songs, but Steven Spielberg wants to keep the original essence in his movie. I also like that he kept it in the 1960s. When I saw the stage play, they did modernize it. And like West Side Story is one of those musicals where you can do that. Like the time period isn't really that important to the story. But there's just something about it if you keep it taking place in the 60s, and I'm glad Steven Spielberg did that. I've heard, what's her face? The girl who plays Maria. Her name's escaping me, but I have heard videos of her sing. Rachel Zegler? One of the two. I have heard videos of her sing. She's amazing. I found out Rita Moreno, who played the Anita in the movie, is actually singing in this trailer. She's the one singing somewhere. And I'm just super excited. Number five is biggest disappointment. That's gonna go to Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. I love the first two movies. The first two movies scared the shit out of me. This was really boring. It's by a different director, so of course you're gonna lose the magic of the original director. I've seen that coming. I saw that coming. I still wanted to go in with an open mind. It was just really boring. I understand the point of this movie was to focus more on Lorraine and Warren's relationship rather than the horror like the other two, but I just didn't like it. Not only was it boring, but it wasn't scary. The jump scares were predictable. What the jump scare would be was predictable. And it's just so sad considering like the first two were just so good and that trilogy is ending on this note. Is it ending? I don't actually know. But if this is the final Conjuring movie, I think that's just kind of sad. Number six was biggest surprise. That would be Nomadland. This just won an Oscar for Best Picture. This is about a woman who is homeless, so she's traveling around in her truck. There's really no plot to this movie. Like the plot itself is just her going around meeting these different nomads, and the audience, not so much her, I think it's the audience that's actually supposed to learn their stories. The only like actor in this movie is the main character, and I think one man. but everyone else, all the nomads are actual nomads and you are learning their actual story. And I'm saying this is my biggest surprise because this movie is pure Oscar bait, and usually movies like this bore me to tears, but I was very intrigued by it. I enjoyed myself. Like, I'm not racing the steed again, but I'm glad I did. I actually really liked it, and I ended up giving it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. So number 7 is favorite new director or new to you. I'm gonna choose a new to me one. That will be Wes Anderson, because I finally watched Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs this year. I liked Fantastic Mr. Fox better, but that's besides the point. I love his storytelling. Like, his dry humor is impeccable. That was the best part of both these movies. I loved his framing of things. Like, something about his symmetry was just so pleasing to look at. And I'm looking forward to watching more of his movies in the future. Number 8 is newest fictional crush. I got 2 for this one because Adult Ben in It Chapter 2 was really attractive. I did react to this movie. I'll link that up above. You'll see me thirsting for Ben throughout that movie. I also like Hohi from Over the Moon. So that movie's about a girl whose mother dies, and then she wants to go see the moon spirit or the moon goddess, and she goes to the moon to go see her. It's based off of like Chinese traditions and their stories and folklore. And there's a guy, Hohi, really attractive. Not only that, but his voice was to die for. I could listen to a man sing like that to me all the time. So number 9 is newest favorite character, and I'm just gonna go with Totoro. I deserve a hug from this thing. So number 10 is movies that made you cry. I am such a baby when it comes to movies. I always cry, so I'm gonna name a few. Over the Moon. Wow. Okay. The new Demon Slayer movie, Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I cried twice during this film. There's like one scene where I seem to be the only one in the theater crying, and then the end where everyone else cried. Disney Pixar's Luca made me cry. It's not as emotional as the other movies, but like whatever. Still made me cry. And I am going to mention a rewatch because this is the movie I did cry the hardest, and that is Grave of the Fireflies. Sobbed my way through those last 30 minutes. So number 11 is a movie that made you happy. I'm going to mention 2. The first one being Arlo the Alligator Boy. This is about a boy who is half alligator, half human. He's living in the bayou and he finds out he has a dad living in New York. So he goes on this trip to go to New York. It's a little musical. It's such a charming movie. It made me happy. Another one is Luca. I talked about this extensively in my movie wrap-up, but Luca reminds me of my Italian grandma, and it's just a new comfort movie. And I think what I actually liked about Luca was that despite it making me cry, it was not some big emotional story like other Pixar movies have been in the past. Like, what makes this movie is the simplicity of it. Number 12 is most beautiful movie poster. I'm gonna talk about 2. I really like Corollas. I like the color scheme. So this is like my simplistic, beautiful movie poster, but then for like one that goes all out, I'm gonna go with Weathering with You. Because those colors, man, and the animation in the movie in itself is actually very beautiful as well. So 13 are what movies I need to see by the end of the year. There are a lot. I have a whole list on my phone. So let me open that up. I'm trying to watch all the Laika movies. I have 1 left, so that's the missing link. I'm trying to watch all the Studio Ghibli movies. I've only watched the first 4 this year. I want to watch all the Cartoon Saloon movies, the Guardian Brothers, Zathura, because somehow I've never seen that, In This Corner of the World, Children of the Sea, Mirai. Yeah, and there's one movie that's coming out in Japan tomorrow as of filming this, because it comes out July 16th, and it's called Belle. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. It takes on like this video game aspect, and also the singing in the trailer is gorgeous. I highly recommend you guys watching that trailer. And the character design is by a Disney animator. He worked on Frozen and Moana. I'm excited. I don't know when it's coming to the States, and I hope it's soon. So my next 2 questions have nothing to do with the book related video. I just wanted to add these 2 questions just because they fit for movies. But question 14 is the oldest movie I watched this year. And the oldest movie I watched this year was The Song of Bernadette, which came out in 1943. This is supposedly based off a true story about a woman who saw the Virgin Mary and then her life from that. Wasn't a fan of this. I went into like great detail about my opinion in my wrap up if you want to see that, but yeah. And then the last question are my favorite rewatches. I rewatched Shrek and Shrek 2. Love those movies. I did not want to watch the other 2 just because Shrek 3 I don't hate as much as the fandom seems to, but I do not like Shrek 4. I thought Shrek 4 was trash. And of course, shout out to the Twilight movies. I rewatched all of these and reacted to them, so I'll link that playlist up above. It's always a good time rewatching these movies. And that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll type up the questions and then leave them down in the description below if you guys want to do this. And then I'll leave the original creators of the book tag I got this from down below as well. If you like this movie, give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe. Y'all know the drill. Let me know down below what movie you loved watching this year. And without further ado, I'm gonna peace out and I'll see you guys later. Ciao a tutti.